Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. War. Today's class is going to focus on arithmetic operations on polynomials using subtraction, a high emphasis topic on the TASC examination. Let's begin. The first problem we have is 2x plus 3 minus 3x minus 4. What is the simplified value of this expression? When I'm teaching to high school equivalency students and we have to subtract, I teach it a little bit differently than my college students. We have to subtract, and we're going to subtract one term by one term. So we're just subtracting like terms. We have the 2x, and I'm going to subtract 3x. So I have 2x minus 3x. Now, many of my students make errors when they're subtracting. So I always tell them, if you don't like to subtract, just put a line down the middle and separate your terms. The 2x over here is positive, and when I take the subtraction sign, the 3x now becomes a negative. When the signs are different, what do? You subtract. When you subtract these two terms, you're going to get a 1. Keep the sign of the larger number. The larger number is 3. So it will be a negative. So your answer is negative 1x. And remember, the 1 is invisible. So we just write negative x. Again, your test is multiple choice. Go to the answer choices and we can eliminate C and D. We now have to subtract. So we have the plus 3. You're subtracting, and we have our negative 4. Now, when it comes to this one, students are much more familiar with this one. Remember, when you have these two neighboring signs, these two negatives come together and form a positive. So this is actually plus 3, and the two negatives gives a positive 4. And this is nice. This is actually just all adding. 3 plus 4 is 7. So your answer is negative x plus 7. Answer B. Let's try it again. Which expression has the same value as the expression 8x squared plus 2x minus 6 subtract 5x squared minus 3x plus 2? So we're going to look for our like terms. So the 8x and the 5x squared, we're going to subtract those. 8x squared minus 5x squared. Now this looks like a normal subtraction. So my answer would be 3x squared. So my first term is 3x squared. I can eliminate C and I can eliminate D. I have a 2x, and again, if you want to take the plus sign, because some of my students do, so you have the positive 2x, you're subtracting, and the next like term that will be found in the second parentheses would be the 3x, but remember, take the sign. So this will be a minus 3x. Remember, these two neighboring negatives will come together. So that will be a positive 2x plus the 3x. So it's an entire addition problem. And 2x plus 3x is 5x. So we have our 3x squared plus our 5x. So we're going to our answers. B is our answer choice. We didn't even have to do the last portion. There was your 5x. But I'm going to, as always. So we have our constant, which is the negative 6. Remember, take the sign that is in front. So negative 6, take away, and then we have here, if you want to, you can take the positive 2. So again, we are subtracting. If you want to, you can draw a line down the middle. But remember, a negative times a positive is a negative. So this is actually like negative 6 minus 2. And when the signs are the same, we add. 6 plus 2 is 8. And you keep the sign of the larger number. So that will give you a negative 8. These problems are not that difficult. As long as you do one term at a time, you should be okay. If you calculate 7y squared minus 5y plus 11, subtract 9y squared minus 2y minus 4, the difference is I'm going to start with the 7y squared and the 9y squared because they're like terms. So I have 7y squared and I'm taking away 9y squared. And again, for those people who don't like subtracting, if you draw that line down the middle there, this is positive and this is negative. And when the signs are different, I subtract, which would give me a 2y squared. Who is bigger? The 9, so I will have a negative 2y squared. Eliminating D and E. So I have negative 2y squared as my first term. Now I have the negative 5y. Notice I'm taking the sign. And then the negative 2y, they are like terms. So negative 5y, take away, and then you have your negative 2y. Now again, these two signs, these two negatives, come together and form a positive. So this is negative 5y plus 2y. And remember, when the signs are different and you're adding, you're going to subtract, which would give you 3y, and keep the sign of the larger number. So it's going to be a negative. So we have here a negative 3y. Let's go to our answer choices. And there's only one negative 3y. So our answer is A. We didn't even have to go any further. But as always, I'm going to do the last part. So here you have the positive 11 and you're taking away the negative 4. Again, take the sign that's in front. Remember, these two negatives come together and form a positive. So that's positive 11 plus 4. And it's an entirely addition problem. And that's where we get our positive 15 plus 15. Last one. Simplify the expression below. 3a squared plus 5a minus 11. Subtract 11a squared plus 2a minus 12. Let's look for our like terms. For the a squares, it's the 3 and the 11. So I have 3a squared minus 11a squared. Again, if you don't like the subtraction, I just draw a line here. This side is positive, this side is negative. When the signs are different, I subtract. When you subtract, you're going to get 8a squared. Who is bigger? The 11. So I'm going to keep my negative. Eliminating C and D. Okay, let's focus on the 5a. Notice I'm taking my sign. And the 2a. So I have a positive 5a. And I'm subtracting my positive 2a. And you don't need to write that plus sign. So you can just write it as 5a minus 2a, which gives you 3a. And notice, this is the only one right here with a 3a, and we're finished. And that's our answer. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck on your TASC examination. And remember, like and subscribe.